Am I wrong, though? Comments. Don't know the respawn. Okay. I already have humility. Hymn of wisdom. Fuck, so I have to do all of these? Okay. Let's go. So vaccines are on sidewalks. Just because you got on a sidewalk doesn't mean you're not going to get hit by a car. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can explain it, right? But like, all I'm saying is that a lot of people, like, their understanding of vaccines is that, you know, like, if you have the vaccine, you're not going to get COVID, and everybody, I think, at this point knows that's not true. Now, the idea that the vaccine is still a it like reduces the effects of COVID, or it makes you less likely to get it. It like lowers the chances. I don't think that is. I don't think people really understand that. I don't think so. Where the fuck is it? Wait, where the fuck is it? Can be spawned. Unstable memory fragments are present. Okay, they're not. It can be in one of those 4 places. I understand. Thank you. So, like, that's kind of like what I'm getting at is, like, it's not about what's right or wrong. It's about kind of like what people understand and believe or know to be true. And that's what really kind of guides a lot of the decision making that people have. Is like, well, you know, what do I think is true? What makes sense to me? And I think that's kind of what happens, is that people look for kind of similarities. It's like, for example, like polio vaccine. I mean, you don't really hear anybody getting polio anymore. So that's why somebody would think that, is because you never hear about people getting polio, and it was a big thing, and like the vaccine came out and it's gone, so like people are just going to assume that it's a one-stop shop solution. And that's because of the vaccine? Well, you're missing what I'm saying. And it's lazy thinking. Well, to me, like, I don't really care about, like, I don't really care about, like, what people think is, like, lazy thinking or not. What I really care about is, like, I'm very interested, and I've said this many times, I'm very interested in understanding, like, how people think and how people come to different conclusions. So, to me, it's like, the validity of it is irrelevant. Because it's not about understanding the validity, it's about understanding what people think and then working backwards to figure out why that happens. It's like applying logic to it doesn't really make sense, because in many regards it's not a logical opinion. Not necessarily with this, but with other things too. Looks like it's not up. And is it over here? No. Okay. That's not it. I thought it was. Do you guys see it? I'm gonna just clean out all these mobs here. Make sure I have this right. Okay. It seems as though it's not here. I feel like I would have seen it. Okay, let's look at the last one. Maybe it's not up? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's gotta be up. Like, how would it not be up? It's 2 in the morning. Paragraph Andy's in chat. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to make the mods work overtime, but if you guys are arguing in chat about the vaccine and if it works or not, it's just really not, like, I don't really care. I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody does. So, I mean, just don't waste your time, man. No point arguing, yeah. Chat blew up to the subject, tells me plenty of people care. Well, there's a lot of people that are like, people care about COVID because they're affected. Oh, there it is. People care about COVID because COVID affects them. I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? I mean, shit. Yeah, people care about it because, you know, a lot of people have had their life put on hold or co-opted or whatever because of COVID. Like their job was fucked up. They got fucked up from COVID. They had family members that were fucked up from COVID. People could have died. They could have had COVID and they have some lasting effect that's bad for them, or they can't get over. There's a lot of things that it could be. So even streamers are suffering from COVID's effects. The streamers, ironically, have benefited from COVID because more people are at home and more people are going to look for entertainment at home. So ironic, COVID is good for streamers. Go knock this one out. Okay. Should I forget about COVID? I feel like a lot of people that are telling me like not to talk about it or whatever, it's mainly because like what I'm saying they disagree with. Like I'm not really even talking about it. Like the thing is that I feel like it's such a shame that just simply discussing an idea creates such an emotional response from people. It really is. Like not even like talking about if it's right or wrong, just talking about how people come to the conclusion and how they think about it. It's just nice. Okay, we got it. There we fucking go, boys. Another one. Alright. I'm gonna log on all my characters and I'm gonna go open this box. Stubbornness? I think that's not, I think it's not really stubbornness. It's more that people have like so much emotion built up over COVID. They have so many opinions built up over COVID. You know, they're either thinking that this is the next, like the government's doing their best to help everybody, and you just have a bunch of these people that don't want to learn and don't know or care about science, and they're just fucking getting themselves killed, and they're killing everybody else. Like, you think like this, yeah, whatever. Or you think the government's spreading fear and COVID's like not even really real, and is made in China, and it's just made to cause some sort of global, you know, panic to keep the eyes off the elite or something like that. People have like they're so emotionally invested in this to the point to where it's almost, what's the word for it? I don't know, like, really what to, it's, yeah, I have to think, it's obsessive, but it's like, it's more than that. It's like, I don't know. It's really hard for me to describe it. But we can discuss an idea on its merit. Too many people talk about the ideas from political POV instead. They're emotionally attached to politics. Yeah, I mean, sure. They're so relentless. Yeah, it's just that it's almost like, you know what it's like? It's like masturbating. They have to do it. It's like, why do you masturbate? You feel like you have to do it, but you obviously don't have to do it. But you have to do it. You just have to, you have to do it. And I feel like it's the same fucking thing with anybody that you bring up COVID and they've got to type their 2-sentence analysis of it or judgment of it. Nice, I can go get this one here. Hopefully I can get it on one of these characters. Well, it's not just my chat. The thing is, like, a lot of my viewers get what I'm saying. Like, obviously every time that you're streaming, you're gonna get the browse viewers, people that just show up and they're, you know, they're here from wherever the fuck, and that's just what they're doing. But the truth is that a lot of other viewers, you know, they just show up somewhere because, or they show up here because they want to, and a lot of my viewers understand it. It affects everyone, man. People have opinions. It's human nature. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that are human nature that don't necessarily, like, just because something is human nature, it doesn't necessarily excuse or make it any less annoying when it happens. There are a lot of bad things that are human nature. I think you can make an argument that, like, racism is, like, it seems to me, it's like human nature. But if somebody is fucking racist, then I'm still not going to be happy with it. It doesn't matter if it's human nature or not. Tribalism in general. Okay, let's see here. Where is the thing? Let's see if we can get it here. Nope. Let's go back over to Orbos. I'll go do Famu again. I'll do Famu and then I'll go do this. I think that's a good idea. First you complain that people can't have a conversation about something, then you complain about people writing their sentences in chat. Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, if that's your criticism of what I'm saying, then I don't think you really understand what I'm saying. So it's whatever. But what I'm saying is that, yeah, it's another gotcha, Andy. Haha, you're so clever. You've identified something that is contradictory based off of your misunderstanding of it. Congratulations. Open your egg? Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Fuck yes, dude. Boys. Nice, dude. This mount's really cool, man. It's a double mount day? No, it's not a double mount day. It's a triple mount day. I'm about to get FAMU. What do you mean, dude? What do you mean, dude? Nah, y'all about to find out. You say that love that mount on the reveal? Yeah, it was really cool. It was great. So ideally, in every perfect world, human nature get in the way of it. Well, I don't really care about like a perfect world or anything like that. I mean, it's just like it's not really. It's not. You're never gonna have things. It's a pointless conversation. But like all I'm really trying to get at is like just because something's human nature doesn't mean that it's okay that it happens or it's not annoying whenever it happens. That's all I'm really trying to get at. I don't know really how I got off on that tangent. It doesn't really fucking matter. But anyway, what I'm saying is like talking about like a theory or like how people come to an idea I think is really interesting because you have to look at like kind of how people and like the public's perception has changed over the years. And how different things have changed people's perception of like, let's say, the government or of society or celebrities or any sort of like people in a leadership position. So that's kind of like, that's what I'm saying is like the way that happens is pretty interesting to me because if you understand how it happens, you can understand how to make it happen or how to make it not happen. Why is haha banned? It's a cringe emote, and I think that all cringe emotes are used exclusively by losers. Have you talked about Linus? He mentioned that using ad block equals piracy. Oh, that's great. That's great. Where did he say that? That's a really good conversation. Yeah, that one's interesting. I like that one more than the COVID one because at least I know about that, you know. The COVID thing, it's like, yeah, I don't know about this, and it's like, oh yeah, that other thing, I don't know about that either, right? So yeah, I mean, there's a YouTube video. Yeah, is there a YouTube video of him saying that? Or is it just like a post on Twitter or something like that? He said on Twitter, but he discusses about on his podcast, The Lawn Show. Unless somebody can find me a link to it, I can't really watch it. Twitter post. Linus said ad block is piracy. So, how is Linus wrong? Yeah, can somebody explain how Linus is wrong? Let's start there. Because you still get paid? Well, if you have ad block and the video is getting, like, let's say you're making money through ads. Right? You're making money through ads. and you have ad block, and people use ad block, theoretically, if every single person used ad block on a video that makes ad revenue, you would make $0. Is that right? I don't know, you tell me. On YouTube, yes, you would make $0. Yeah. Would piracy be stealing Linus's content and uploading it to Facebook or something? I think that would also be, like, I think that comparing it to... Okay, so... yeah, this is actually really interesting. I like this. This is a good conversation. Let me think about this a lot. So, I think that the word piracy is what people have. Reacting early? Yeah, I'm probably gonna, as soon as I finish this stuff, it should be okay. You're not taking anything? Well, you are and you're not. Yeah, this is really interesting because it's... Yeah, I like this. Okay, so let's talk about it. Basically, if you are watching a video and the way that the video is monetized is through ads and you have ad block on, that means that you are not paying for the content in the way that the provider intended. Is that something that we can agree on? Is that the payment that you have is your participation of the ad, which is what's intended? Yes. So, like, basically, they told you that you should, you're supposed to watch the ad, and that way you're able to watch the video. There's no payment? No, there's no payment, but I don't think payment does not have to be in money, in my opinion. I think to say that, like, the only way for this to make sense is for payment to be in money. You're basically paying with your time. You're saying that I will pay you to make this video by giving you 30 seconds of my time to watch an advertisement that benefits you financially. You're kind of like, is that not what basically the social contract is with a YouTube video? That's the social contract. That is the expected. That is the expected social contract. Is that it? There's nothing for sale. It's a just because nothing is for sale does not mean that there is not an intended transaction. You see what I'm saying? So the transaction is your time for their time. There is no monetary transaction explicitly, but there is an implicit transaction with the fact that you are making them money indirectly. You are paying them indirectly with your time. A service is provided in return for ad viewing time. Yes, that's the thing. It's similar to not paying a toll on a toll bridge. Let me think about that. Paying a toll on a toll bridge. How is it different? Not really? Okay, why is it a bad analogy? A toll bridge is mandatory? Okay, so like in Austin, you can get around without using a toll road, but the toll roads are usually closer, like you can save time by using the toll road. Because you need to use a bridge, you don't need to watch the video. I don't think that necessarily matters. Yeah, you're paying for the convenience in a way. Yeah, I don't think that matters in this topic. Piracy is all about enjoying some piece of entertainment without getting anything. Yeah, and so yeah, I think that like what is like let's look at like what's the. This is always kind of a dumb thing to do, I think, because like people have like an intrinsic understanding of like what words are. Let's see, what is piracy? What is piracy? The practice, the unauthorized use or reproduction, the unauthorized use or reproduction of another's work. So basically, it's stealing it's stealing a ship. Let's just start this. I think we've got enough people here. Yeah, it's definitely good enough. Come on. Join up, Georgie. Join up, Georgie, you stupid little bitch. Let's go. So it is piracy to use VPN to watch shows that are not available in your country on Netflix, because even VPN companies advertise this as a selling point. Is that piracy? Yes. Technically, yes, because it's unauthorized use. How is it not piracy? Yeah, technically the answer is yes. So what I think people are really, what I think is so interesting about this conversation is that I think you cannot make a logical argument that watching refusing to watch ads and ad blocking isn't piracy. But I think simultaneously, you can never win people over by saying that it is. So even though it is piracy, people don't care. Basically, people disagree with the law. Well, this isn't really a law. Like, this is more of like an ethical thing. Yeah, I don't think it is. There's no law involved. The law says you can't use ad block. Yeah. This isn't a legal debate at all. Still choosing to put his content on a free platform. So how is that piracy? I'm not following. Because the intended consumption of the content on that free platform is to consume it with the advertisements. So if you are going and circumventing the intended use of consumption by circumventing the monetization, I feel like that is like, is that or is that not unauthorized use? I feel like it would be. I like there. How is it not? Definitely not illegal, but a form of piracy. Yeah. It ended against YouTube's terms of service. Well, who cares? So if YouTube's terms of service said you couldn't use an ad blocker, would you stop using an ad blocker? It's a pointless conversation because everybody knows, including myself, the answer to that question is no. So who cares? Who cares what the TOS says? That's me. Fuck. See this conversation tipping a waiter in a restaurant. You absolutely should do it, but you're not required to. The thing is, like, I've never thought about this before, so I will probably spend the next week or 2 weeks thinking about this thing. Usually stop watching YouTube whenever my ad blocker starts working. For me, I stop watching Twitch. I think that I don't really care about videos on YouTube ads, I think they're fine. Most of them are mostly non-intrusive and they're not cannibalistic to the content, whereas Twitch ads are cannibalistic to the content, and I think they're a lot worse than YouTube ads. In my opinion. Twitch moments being introduced. What are your most memorable I was here moments? I don't know. I probably have a lot of them. I just can't think of them right now. TOS is what gives you a license to watch videos. Thus, ad blocking equals no license. Oh, that's really interesting. So you're right, actually. So following that, does the terms of service, so if the terms of service gives you a license implicitly to watch the videos, and because ad blocking isn't against the terms of service, I'm assuming it's not, then if you're watching it, wait, let me think about this again. Let me just ask a very simple question. Is ad block against the YouTube terms of service? Can we please just get a definitive yes or no answer on this? But you don't need an account to watch on YouTube. That's a good point. Okay. YouTube may prevent access if it believes in its executive direction that the provision of the service for you is no longer commercially viable. Yeah, but like that's not really a catch-all. That is a catch-all, but like that's not really about ads. And that also requires them to take action first, because the license is given, the license is assumed to be given and then taken away at YouTube's discretion, is basically what they're saying. So unless YouTube is taking it away, then you have the license. And also, like, a lot of this stuff, I feel like all of this doesn't really matter. None of this really matters. Like the YouTube, like whether they have a license or not, because let's be honest here, who cares about piracy laws? Who cares? No, I don't care. Yeah, you probably don't care. Yeah, the only people that care about piracy laws is Disney. So, like, really, like, the conversation is not even about, like, what's legal or what's not legal, because what's legal or what's not legal doesn't even matter. People don't care what's legal or what's not legal. They still don't give a shit about it. Music industry does. No, it was just a joke. Obviously more than that care about piracy. But, like, in general, this is something that's an opinion that's held by people who are... After I do all my characters for Famu and that toy, we're going to start the React stuff, okay, guys? I feel like we're only going to do, like, 2 or 3 things today, but we're going to try to make those 2 or 3 things really count. And that way I can get to bed and go live earlier tomorrow. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go live earlier tomorrow. Yeah, I might not be able to. It might be another late night stream. So it'll have to be a process. It's because of the meeting. Tomorrow's Monday, and we have OTK meetings on Monday. We're not doing a Lost Ark video. There's no shot that I do the Lost Ark video today. Like, literally no shot. The fact that you're a content creator, I understand your point of view on ad blockers, but as a consumer, unfortunately, it might be impossible for me to accept it. What I'm telling you is that I agree with you. I think that ads are bad. Like, I actually, here. 4 years ago. Why ad revenue is a dying income source for online content.
So I was going to put this video on my main channel, but I decided not to. I'll tell you guys why in the video. I wanted to talk today about YouTube's ad revenue problem and where I think that this is going to go.
We'll see what I have to say.
Now, for those of you guys that don't know, there's been a seemingly coordinated attack on people, specifically on YouTube, by a lot of other traditional and mainstream news outlets for a number of reasons that I'll talk about in this video. But before I actually talk about the reasons, I will give a brief synopsis of what's happened so far. And
who cares?
Choose, okay? And of course, this is a joke, right? I mean, it's not like PewDiePie's a Nazi. He's like, I'm gonna to
It was the fucking bridge. I made the video because of the bridge. Oh my god, I forgot all about this. Oh wow.
It's going to move into what I'm going to call the third
okay, here we
era
go.
And this is pretty much what's been happening for a long time, but as these certain movements, social justice movements and everything gain power and gain momentum, obviously what they say becomes more powerful. But ultimately, I do want to draw a certain point here, is that most of these social justice outrages, nobody really gives a shit, right? Like, what do you think that they're going to do?
This is still true.
See a Coke ad next to something that was like bad.
It is still true.
You think they're gonna stop drinking Coke? Of course not. It's ridiculous. You know, there's like a huge social media outrage. I see this all the time on like CNN, and like they show the tweet and it's got 12 likes. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody cares. You know, they're just trying to make trouble. And I mean, 24-hour news cycle, that's what you gotta do. And what you also have to remember is same websites like Wall Street Journal and everything for that website. Problem. And I think that what this is going to spawn out of it, it's going to do two different things. It's going to move into what I'm going to call the third different era of, content creation online and monetizing content creation online. We've had the first era in like maybe early 2000s, like from basically Numa Man to up until whenever the YouTube partnership program was created, where people basically just made videos in the internet for the fuck of it. They were all terrible.
Nobody made any money.
It was just complete garbage.
Yeah.
And some of them were good. Okay, let's be honest. And they have a special place in my heart. But if you compare them to the videos
most of them were bad.
The production quality definitely was not there, let's be honest. But after the YouTube partnership program came out, and up until now, and Twitch has kind of been moving towards the third era, in my opinion, that's going to be happening very soon, and these social justice protests and outrages, or faux outrages, are kind of, I guess, like elevating or escalating the need for that to happen. But in between, I'd say like 2006, 2007, whenever they made the partnership program, up until about now, especially on YouTube, content creators have been more or less funded through ad revenue. So that means the more page clicks that you get, the more money you get. And obviously that's created a number of different things like clickbaits and also people trying to be more insular and not basically just try and attract as much attention to their channel as possible, without really as much of a, I guess, concern for quality, especially whenever you
views
talk
of view,
about,
doesn't matter why.
Like the Huffington Post or, the Washington, any of the newspapers. If you just look at them, many of them are very, very badly put together, at least in my opinion. And so many of the reasons why these articles are so inflammatory, it's like, the gamers are dead, and why Donald Trump is going to be Hitler, why Hillary is going to just start World War III, why all of these articles are so sensationalist is to attract people to click on that article on that page, because on that page there's an ad. So there are two different forces that are going to be moving us out of the ad revenue era, I believe. Number one is going to be the things that I've been talking about here, which obviously advertisers don't really want to be associated with somebody that's controversial. Corporations are more or less amoral. They don't really have good morals or bad morals. They just try and do whatever is best for the investors, which is usually trying to make as much money as possible, which also ties into something that's been increasingly more of a problem, I believe, but if for nothing else, more of a presence, is advertisers and companies are using altruism and different social causes in order to further their brands.
Wow. How about that? How about that?
Recently, you had like the Pepsi thing with Kylie Jenner. You've also had whenever I think like Donald Trump did the travel ban. You had Starbucks saying that they were going to hire refugees. You had other places saying that they supported it. And different companies are attaching themselves to these different social issues in a way to hopefully closer identify with their target audiences. Because if you have somebody, it's like, hey, they hate Donald Trump. Well, I hate Donald Trump too. Next time I'm going to buy a coffee, maybe I'll go to Starbucks. So it's
Yeah, that's still what people do. Like obviously with Donald Trump, it was a really, like, let's be honest. Even if you like Donald Trump, it was really, really, really easy to make fun of him. It just was. It was very easy to do it, and like that's like, and it's the same with like other types of like political things. You'll see different companies that take political positions that are reflective of their largest demographic of their audience. So this happens all the time. In my opinion, I think that there are some companies that genuinely care about social issues. I think one of those you could use as an example is something like Ben and Jerry's. But as a general rule, these companies don't care at all about the social issues. They're just using them as advertising.
Better way for consumers and our target audience to identify with that brand, and the more that the customer or the consumer identifies with the brand, the less likely they are to try other brands, and the more likely they are to use that brand continuously. And that's why you see different brands, Starbucks and Uber, and I think like Lyft and other different brands and companies that attract a younger audience are more apt to attach themselves to progressive issues, whereas older brands and brands that are attracting more of a basically dad brands, dad companies, you have like Burlington Coat Factory, Cabela's, you're probably not going to see a lot of progressive causes that Cabela's or Burlington Coat Factory are going to attach themselves to. And if it is, it's probably not going to be on the same level and with the same intensity as Starbucks would or whatever else, because they feel like their target audience overlaps with that general political opinion.
Yeah.
So that's what they're going to try to do.
Okay.
I probably over-explain social causes and basically altruism as a means of marketing. So in that, obviously, they don't want to have somebody that goes against that. So Starbucks doesn't want to have their ad on somebody's channel that's like a white supremacist, of course, whereas other channels might be more ambivalent to it. They don't really care a whole lot. If it's a big deal, they'll get rid of it, but if it's not, they don't really care. But other brands that are more, more cultivate that in a very specific way. And so that's the first reason, is that because as ad revenue is going to become less and less stable for a content creator, less content creators are going to want to pursue different paths that basically their revenue is determined by ad revenue and their money is determined by ad revenue, and they're going to look for different ways to make money on the internet.
This is a really good video.
Twitch right now, people making money through subscriptions and also through donations.
This is a great
video.
And
the second driving force that's going to be causing this to happen, in my opinion, is going to be ad block. For my channel right now, I get a few million views, usually 2 to 3 sometimes. Like right now I haven't put out too many videos, but usually like every video I put out gets a little bit, probably around like 100,000 views. So I've got a pretty good I guess like estimation on how many people watch ads and how many people don't. And for my audience, it's about 25% of my views are monetized. So that means about 75 to 80% of my audience is using ad block, and I'm using 80% because some people could potentially whitelist my channel and watch the ads on there out of their own volition. But basically, ad
You seen
block
this
is
video
never going
earlier?
to go
No.
away. They're never going to outlaw ad block, and whenever they do outlaw ad block, nobody's going to care, and they're still going to use ad block. It's never going to go away. And ads on the internet are dying, and there are always going to be some people that see ads, but using them as like a facet on different pages, like pop-up ads or anything like that, that is dying, and it's going to be dead. What things are transitioning to is having content creators funded directly through their audience. And I believe this is going to be probably the most stable thing for people to do, and it also is going to allow them to invest entirely in their content. So what I mean by that is that they're going to have Patreon pages. That's the future, I think. Patreon pages, subscriptions, donations, that kind of stuff. And the whole...
Was I right? I would say that I'm right. I would say that I was right 4 or 5 years ago. I predicted OnlyFans. Can you believe that? Yep.
Era of ad revenue and people being beholden to different I guess like things through ad revenue is going to slowly fade away. It will always be around, but I do believe it will slowly fade away.
Linus,
And
yes.
these social justice movements to demonetize and deplatform people are only accelerating that process. So what does that mean for...
Which I think is a good thing. I think that the less beholden people are to ad revenue as a general construct, the better. And this makes the it makes the platform more free. It makes it less volatile, and it makes it more safe for content creators to invest in the long term, because they are funded entirely by their audience. This has happened, I think one big way this has happened recently is by people selling merchandise. In 2017, merchandise was big. Now it's twice as big, 3 times as big. And you're seeing even more of that. And you're also seeing content creators relying primarily, this is where most content creators are making their money. And actually, I cannot say most because I don't know about most. This is my best analysis that I can give of it. Is that most content creators make their money through direct sponsorship. Like, for example, I have been offered over $200,000 to play a video game on my stream for a couple of hours. Think about how long it would take for me to make that money back if I was what the fucking fuck. Yeah, that's right. And the thing is that I get enough of those offers that I could do one of those probably every other week. I could probably do one of those every other week, maybe not, about every month. And it's not to gamble. It's not to gamble or to sell dick pills or anything like that. It's actual games. So, yeah. So I wanted to talk to you guys about Raid Shadow Legends. No, I'm just kidding. But here's what I'm really trying to get at. Is you think about how much money that is just for like a one tap. And you can easily make the argument. Here's what it is. You can easily make the argument, and this is a viewer power fantasy, I believe, and I'm going to talk about this whenever I turn the camera on and actually have this discussion, like really. This is a viewer power fantasy that if you take sponsorships that this viewer disagrees with, that it will affect your viewership. This is not true. It's not true. Pretty much every single streamer on the platform takes sponsorships. A good example is look at Zackrawrr. Zackrawrr does not take any sponsorships yet. But Zackrawrr is not the biggest Twitch stream on Twitch. Every other streamer, like look at people who do like Moon, is not the biggest stream on Twitch. He's a big streamer, absolutely, but he's not the biggest, and he doesn't do ads either. So there's no correlation between doing ads and a reduction in viewership. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So he's getting there. Well, so are other people too. And what I'm saying is that the reason why Moon is getting there is not because he doesn't run ads and he doesn't do sponsorships. Moon is getting there because people are fucking watching his stream because they're waiting for the return of John Souls in Elden Ring. Well, I know I am. It's gonna be fucking amazing. God, I cannot fucking wait for that. And sponsorships kill your stream. That's why you're not on mainstream. Well, when was the last time wait a minute. So you think that sponsorships kill your stream and that's why I'm not on mainstream? When was the last time I did a sponsorship? Yeah. So, and again, like this is, and like this is what I'm really trying to get at, is that this is a viewer power fantasy. The viewer power fantasy is that the viewer can dictate and effectively punish the streamer for doing advertisements because they disagree with it, or they don't like it, or they feel like it's not fair that the streamer gets this much money. It's a viewer power fantasy. I'm just some asshole with no clue what you're talking about. Well, no, I mean, I'm not really... Here's the thing, like, I don't really care about what he's saying. Like, I'm not trying to get in an argument with this. What I'm really trying to get at is whenever you actually break down what these people think, it's completely vapid. It's completely transparent. Seems like you're not on mainstream to game contracts. Oh, so now it's okay. So we're gonna move on now. Yeah, we're just gonna completely move on and talk about user power fantasies. Well, yeah, Arnold. The reason why is like it's a topic that we're gonna go over in a little bit for a video. Okay. Yeah. I'm not. It won't decrease viewership, but it will decrease the love. Really? How many of Mizkif's viewers do you think love him? How many sponsors does Mizkif do? Mizkif's viewers fucking love him, man. They like him so much. They think he's great. They want to watch his stuff all the time. How many people do you think love Trainwrecks? Tons of people love Trainwrecks. They think he's fucking great. Every stream's an ad. Okay, I can agree about Train. Well, what I'm saying is that, like, again, I just have... Now, I think that you can make a ad absurdum argument. If you do only ads ever and all the time that you go online, you probably will not be successful. Right? I think that we can pretty easily make this argument that the odds are that if you only do ads, yeah, ad absurdum, literally and, you know, in this way, that, yeah, this probably would not be the case. Steph Curry is slinging Subway sandwiches and people love him. Yeah, and he should be slinging fucking Schlotzsky's because Schlotzsky's is better. You know it, I know it, everybody fucking knows it. But he's doing that, and so's Jersey Mike's is better too. But he's slinging Subway because Subway needs to replace Jared. And they're going to pay big money for it, and Steph Curry's great. So that's where I'm really trying to get at. Schlotsky's at? Yeah, Schlotsky's hit me up. It's one thing to be an infomercial stream, and another thing to do 2 hours of sponsored stuff occasionally. Exactly, and there are viewers that believe that even if you do that, the viewers will leave and stop watching you. This is not true, and I think that, and I understand that, and the reason why I believe that is based off of literally pretty much every single stream on Twitch over my 5-year analysis being on the platform for hours every single day. Right? So that's not the case. So where am I going with this? Like, what is the whole point of what I'm saying? The whole point of what I'm saying is that more and more streamers are taking these individual ad opportunities for something like Raid Shadow Legends, for something like Manscaped, for something like Apex Legends or Fortnite or just any video game sponsorship. NordVPN, yeah, we had Allcraft sponsored by NordVPN. You know, I can't say how much because it's NDA, but I'll tell you that we make more money from NordVPN than we do from ad revenue during the show. I think we can pretty much fucking assume that, right? So what I'm really trying to get at here, and my point that I'm really trying to hammer home, is that this is already happening, and it's because viewers don't really care about the streamer's livelihood to the extent that it affects their ability to view the content. So, like, if the streamer was to say, you know, or make a way for people to, you can only watch the content if you pay for it, most people would say, later, bitch. And that's the way it goes. And I think this is the same with anybody. And you even have the same stuff with OnlyFans. You have people that, you know, you do have people that buy OnlyFans, but I would say most people that consume content on OnlyFans do it through Google. Let's be honest. And it's like, this girl's trying to make a living. Do you care that she's trying to make a living? No. This is irrelevant to you. This doesn't, like, this does not matter to you. You just want to, you just want the content. And it doesn't really matter, like, what it is. I just want booba. Yeah, exactly. Time spent by creators offline is seldom considered. Well, the truth is that it doesn't matter if it's considered or not. You could tell people that you worked on this all day, every day for a month, and if you asked people to pay for it, they'd still say no. The reason why is because they don't care about it. They don't care about your problems because your problems are not their problems. They have their own problems. Why are they now inheriting your problems? This is the same thing I said before about, like, you can't, like, people are going to get mad, like, for example, for Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Endwalker had a lot of queues. People were really pissed off about it. And I'm also going to use Blizzard as an example, too. Do they care that there's a chip shortage? No. Why would it matter to them if there's a chip shortage? Are they paying money to understand that there's a chip shortage? No, they're paying money to play Final Fantasy. So if they can't play Final Fantasy, they're pissed off. It's the same thing as Blizzard. People can be literally killing themselves at Blizzard. And, you know, having their breast milk stolen and then being blamed for having to, you know, like, you see, like, all of the bad Blizzard stuff, okay? Like, I mean, well, I don't want to go through every single one, right? All I'm really trying to say is that there are a lot of, like, really, really bad things that happened at Blizzard, and people still unsubbed. And do you know why they unsubbed? It's because the content was bad. That's why. And they don't care, or their 9.2 isn't out yet. And do you know what the truth is? That if Blizzard came out and they said that 9.2 is getting delayed because of all of the sexual harassment and we've had to get rid of those people, there would still be a lot of people who just simply unsub. You probably wouldn't see a lot of them complaining. You would see a lot of them complaining, actually, you would. But there would be substantially less complaining than the ones that just quietly unsubbed. Because your $15 is your $15. You're not going to pay them $15 because they can't keep their hands to themselves at the California campus. It's not your problem. You don't care about them. You think you do until you have to pay for it, and then you realize you don't. Right, so for example, they all had the same bullshit and everyone still plays Riot games. Riot wasn't as bad, but Ubisoft was. Ubisoft was really bad too. And all of these games, people still, you think you do, but you don't. Yeah, there you go. It's not the consumer's place to understand why a service isn't being delivered. Exactly. It doesn't matter. It's like for me, like I stopped streaming because of my mom's problem. People still unsub from my channel. Guess what? I don't hold that against anybody. They sub for streams, they're not getting streams. It's that simple. Yeah, it's literally that simple. There's no fine print here. Still an announcement sub. I mean, a lot of people are subbed, and you know, I really appreciate that and everything. And I always look at subs as donations. I don't really do anything special for subs, and that's intentional. The reason why I don't do anything special for subs is because I want to treat all of my viewers the same. I want to make sure that, you know, people aren't being differentiated by how much money they give me. I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. You know why? Because if you offer that, nothing's free. People will want something out of it that I probably don't want to give them. People will want extra privileges, extra things. It allows me to preserve my autonomy, and it also gives me the ability to treat everybody the way that I want to. Would you often go sub-only chat, though? Sometimes I have to, but that's more... it's not something that I want to do, really. Usually it happens because of something that's like sometimes there's like a video that plays and there's like a woman on the screen who's fat and like everybody's making fun of her for being fat. So I put it in sub mode because of that. Yeah, it's like spur control. Like usually the reason I have to do it for that is because of a woman, but like there are guys that the same thing happens to as well. It's not just a female thing, but I think most of the time it is. Yeah, or a YouTuber has a nasally voice, yeah, or something like that happened last night. Well, the thing with like the Saiwo thing, like that was like literally 4 people messaging, and like somebody saying his eyes looks like he played the game for like, you know, 15 hours or something. That's not really that much of an insult. I think it's just kind of like a, yeah, it's funny, right? You know I've been there too. But I think it's very easy to tell whenever somebody is doing like a little bit of banter and whenever somebody is malicious or somebody is trying to be cruel. So that's the way I see it. Wouldn't emote-only mode be better? I find that sub-only mode is better. The reason why sub-only mode is better is that there's a lot of people that are non-subs that want to be able to talk, and whenever they know that that behavior will result in sub-only mode, it causes them to negatively respond to the people that are being hostile in chat, as to prevent them and discourage them from doing the things that would cause it to go into sub-only mode, which is also the things that I don't want them to do. So it effectively causes my viewers to do my work for me. So, I'm gonna do, I think this is my last character. Yeah, this is my last character. Pay out for doing your work. Hey, you want me to pay you guys? I am. You're probably using ad blocker. Okay? The least you can do is tell some spurg in chat to shut the fuck up. You don't run ads? How do you know? I only run ads at the end of the stream. Like, if Twitch makes a rule, like I said before, like, this isn't really a... Okay. This isn't really a secret that Twitch did not offer me a custom contract. If they did, I would be getting paid, you know, like probably a pretty high seven-figure payment for doing this, and I would run ads for that much money, absolutely. But it looks like that's not going to be a thing. Why no custom contract? A lot of reasons, but I think that really it came down to myself being extremely critical about Twitch in many cases, and that was not the main reason. I think the main reason is the fact that I'm inconsistent. I stop streaming and start streaming whenever I want to, and I do everything on my own terms, and I'm not accountable to anybody. And they have minimum hours, you know, like Valkyrie was talking about this. A brand risk? I'm not really a brand risk. Like, I say things that are, you could say, brand unfriendly, but I'm good enough at saying them and expressing myself that people don't get mad about it. If that makes sense. How much money you have? Who cares about making boatloads? Well, I mean, if they had offered me a lot of money, I probably would have taken it for sure, definitely, because it's like, it just allows me to do whatever I want with my life, and you know, I do have things that I would do with the money, and you know, of course, especially now that, you know, we have OTK, and we could invest some of that, or I wouldn't really invest my own personal money because it's a conflict, right? But I could invest it in other things, like other companies that I might want to be involved in, and things like that. So like, there's a lot of things that I would do with the money, but like I don't really care about like an expensive car or a big house, just per se, but I care about other things that are that do cost money. Okay, I'll make my own group. PO box still up? Yeah, I'm gonna do a big PO box stream whenever I come back on my main stream, and I'm not sure when that is yet. Don't ever do it, man. Imagine always questioning whether what you say would get you in trouble. What do you think I have to do now? Invest in various OnlyFans subscriptions? Yeah, there you go. Miz talked about making OTK public, but afraid everyone would short the stock. Do you think it would ever go public? Right now, we have a lot of things that we want to do. I don't want to make any comments on that. The reason why, like I said this before, is that like I'm very open with people. Like usually if I'm thinking something, I'll just tell people. And some of the guys in the org were admittedly kind of frustrated that I would say things and speak kind of for the org on my stream or on my second stream, because it's something that they might not have really wanted to have said. So from now on, I don't really make comments or say like specific things that we're gonna do as an org, or things that we aren't gonna do, or anything like that, just out of respect for all of my other co-owners. It was fair for them to be critical of that, and that's why I respect them. Aren't you the owner? Let me tell you something. I never made a decision as a guild master or as an officer without having everybody agree with me. If I can't convince people of something, then I don't do it. So yeah, I don't, that's not how I negotiate with people. What about those ninja items? Well, everybody in the raid agreed with me. It was the people on Reddit that didn't agree. The raid was the one that wanted me to take it away from grenades. The raid was the one that was okay with me getting all the items. The raid was totally fine with it. It's Reddit that wasn't happy. And I always told people, this is gonna sound really bad. If I ever want to do something that's against everybody's best interest, I'll put it to a vote. You can always convince people to vote against their best interests if you communicate it well enough to them. So, yeah, I don't like to... It's like if I genuinely can't convince people to do something, maybe it's because it's a bad idea. And also, the reason why is that I don't like to breed resentment. This is something that's really, really important to me. Is that I hate to breed resentment with people that I have to trust. Because if you build resentment with people that you have to trust, they will betray you. This will happen. And it won't be like one day they take a knife and they stab you in the back. No. It'll be just nudging things in the direction that you don't want to be in. I never breed resentment unless I absolutely have to. It might not even consciously do it. It might just feel natural for them to oppose you. Yeah. And that's why I don't do it. Get voted out of OTK. No, I think I do the same thing with that. It's the same thing to me. I don't think I've ever tried to push anything in the org without having... There have been times that we didn't all agree on something, but whenever we didn't all agree on it, the people that didn't agree on it could see the validity of why the people that do agree on it want to do it. Does that make sense? So like they might not necessarily agree, but they can see why you're doing that. Example? No examples. Like I'm not going to give an example. Maybe in 10 years I'll give an example. You can see a pros and cons. That's normal. Yeah, exactly. You don't think sometimes voting is wrong and you have to take something against the majority vote? I think that almost every single time that there's been, like, the thing is, like, voting with, like, you're talking about, like, how to appeal to an audience of people who are, like, an audience of people who are just kind of, like, random, like, just a general public, and how to appeal to a group of your peers. And that's very different. I can't comment on this. I can't comment on it. I sound like a politician. And I will continue to sound like a politician to the extent that people ask me prying questions about my business. That's true. Let's go ahead and pull boss. So you know they vote with the full knowledge of pros and cons. Yeah. And the thing is, like, for almost everything, even with, like, my stance on the store mounts, and, like, a lot of people, like, I'll give you an example. My stance with the store mounts, a lot of people disagreed with that stance on the store mounts. They said that you're being hypocritical and you are you're providing a value to this, and you should cancel your sub. Basically, that's what people said. And I made the video with, like, that. Oh shit. That's just fucking embarrassing. So yeah, anyway, like, what I'm really saying is whenever I brought out that graph of the concentric circles, that video actually, I think, won a lot of people over. And they saw my point of view. So I think even in a lot of cases where you're talking about, like, my viewers and, like, winning the viewers, like, winning people's favor or getting people to agree with you or see your perspective on things, I think that I almost always win in those situations too. Not every single time. I don't win every single time, but I usually win. I'd say I win probably 9 times out of 10. Probably even more than that. This is what you care about? Well, I care about having people see my point of view. Yeah, I mean, of course. Especially if them not seeing my point of view is a reason for them to dislike me. Yeah. Of course. With both ads, even if people don't like it, I feel you. Well, you have to know what people are thinking, even if it's something that's stupid. Like, it's important to be aware of your surroundings, even if your surroundings are dumb. When storm on, so Twitch subs, same content, people so cool or interacting with content. It's just like, that's a bad, I just, look, I don't want to go through the store arguments again. I don't really care anymore. The thing is, like, here's what you guys can bet on. Every time that you get a new store mount, there will be a new video of me complaining about it. This will happen forever. This will always be the case, and it will never be different. That's just what it is. It is what it is. Sweet, yeah, for sure. It's because I don't like them, and I'm going to continue voicing that opinion. You learned a lot starting an org? Yeah, I have. There's a very high probability that I'll be starting a podcast. And maybe we could have some people on and talk about that. It'll be something that's not going to be live. Probably not going to be live. But we're going to record it and upload it. It's not going to be just about gaming. Like, sometimes it'll be about gaming, sometimes it won't be. Podcasts like Joe Rogan. I'm going to be honest with you. I've watched clips of Joe Rogan's podcast, but I have never watched an entire Joe Rogan podcast before. Same. Watch Alex Jones. I watched part of the Alex Jones podcast. I thought it was funny, and I just didn't really finish it because I was like probably streaming or playing WoW or making a video. Full shows, and I say full ones since you went to Spotify though. Yeah. It's hard to watch because of his dumb takes. I don't know. Have you watched Trash Taste? No, I haven't. Don't necessarily like the Paul brothers, but Jesus Impulsive is good. Well, Mike is a... Mike Malajak, like, he's a really good talker, man. Like, for somebody that talks bullshit all day, like, I can really respect that guy. And they get good people on. Like, I saw they had fucking Mr. Beast on the other day. Well, if Joe's takes are bad, still find a laugh though. Still find a laugh. I have no idea. Do you like sports? I love to play football. I like playing tennis. I used to really like running. I like watching basketball. Watch NBA when I can, but like I don't really invest myself in it. It's more or less something that if it's on at somebody's house, I'll pay a lot of attention to it and watch it, but I don't really go out of my way to watch it myself. Like MMA, I'll watch some of that stuff if it's like I don't really watch it a whole lot. It's just that, like, the reason why I don't watch it a lot is because I'm just busy doing other things. And it's not even really that I'm busy, it's just that I want to do something else instead. Cock. Okay. Maybe baseball because of all the analytics? No, I don't really like baseball. Baseball is really boring to watch. There's like a lot of downtime in baseball. Basketball, like, shit is popping off constantly. Like, shit, it's like, it's constantly popping off. Like, things are happening all the time. It's fucking, like, basketball is, in my opinion, the best sport to watch, man. And I hate playing basketball, okay? I'm a tall guy. And people always are like, you know, oh, you don't like basketball? You don't like playing basketball? I'm like, no, I don't, because number one, my friend Lowell, who lived near me, he had a basketball hoop, and I'm a tall guy, but Lowell's like 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". He's really really tall. Like he's a good bit taller than I am, and whenever we were kids, he was also taller than me, and he'd fucking beat me in basketball. And to be honest with you, it wasn't because he was taller. It's just because straight up he was just better at basketball than I was. Like that's it. He was just I would never say this to his face, but he just simply was better at basketball than me. Cross is a rich person sport. Never really played that. Is he black? No, he's not black, man. You see matchup for a Super Bowl? Nah, I haven't seen it at all. Is he human or orc? Yeah. Rock climbing? Yeah, I mean, I like rock climbing. I've done rock climbing before. Every time I've done it, it's been, like, super fun. But, yeah, in general, I like playing sports a lot more than I like watching them. Very little interest in watching sports. Much more interest in playing them. Okay, let's see if we can get everything into this. Having in esports, OTK again. Don't want to speak for the org. If we make a post about it or something like that, we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. Make sure I've got everything up here and we should be fine. Okay. We're just gonna go with this one. Alright. Give me 1 second. Esports sucks or boring? Some people don't like esports. Yeah, that's true.